Justice League 74.
Maybe the previous 6 issues as well.
Yes.
So Matt for some reason caught up in Justice League for the
Because I bought them.
Because he hates himself.
for the failed Bendis issue. So here we go.
We all know my completionist tendencies, and I couldn't have a big gap in between, 68 and 75. So I've been getting these in the annual. So where I last left off with Justice League was the Royal Flush Gang had stolen the Fortress of Solitude. That was a 2-issue arc I don't understand. I don't get what the point was outside to show that Leviathan had reached out to the Royal Flush Gang to be like, you guys are so much better than that, and inspires them to do more. So they try to steal the Fortress of Solitude, so then they can use the technology in there to harness an asteroid that's flying close to Earth that would, that has more value than anything on Earth combined. But of course, because it's the Royal Flush Gang, they completely muck it up. The fortress goes haywire, and the Justice League has to get together to, put all the genies back in the bottle. And it was all very superfluous. Don't get what that was going for. But the final 4 issues, they got rid of the backup for Justice League Dark. And it became a co-book where they're guest starring. And y'all remember Xanadoth from Superman or Action Comics?
No.
Okay.
Really.
I didn't read it, so I'm assuming this was in the Bendis run.
Yeah, so in the Bendis run, Bendis created the oldest Lord of Chaos, Xanadoth. And it possessed the DEO agent at the end.
I think I remember this now. This is the... Yeah, I remember this arc. Yeah, I remember it.
So as I'm looking at these Justice League covers, I'm wondering, hey, I wonder if this has anything to do with that weird thing that Bendis did. Sure enough. Xanadoth shows up and wants a better vessel than the DEO agent. So it appears to Black Adam and possesses him. So it becomes the Justice League and the Justice League Dark trying to harness this Black Adam. For some reason, Xanadoth needs Madame Xanadu, which I don't get, and then Bendis never really explains.
It's because their names sound similar.
And that's the only reason. And there's some connection that he teases. He does write a pretty good demon with the rhymes. The rhymes tend to be pretty fun throughout. But this is also after Khalid has become Dr. Fate again in the pages of Justice League Dark, after having a lot of he's super timid about it, doesn't know if he can do it without Naboo. But don't worry, because Naboo comes back. They're able to summon him through Constantine and Swamp Thing and Zatanna, which I love Zatanna as a character, but basically her ability just to say things backward and have it work out, I think sometimes is a little bit overpowered in the wrong hands. I felt when Ram V was doing it in Justice League Dark, there were still limits to it, but when Bendis does it, there's none, which at that point, why do we need Constantine and Swamp Thing to back her up in summoning Naboo, right? So Naboo decides he doesn't want to play because we banish Xanadoth. If Xanadoth's back, we can't do this. Until they see Naomi, where here's where my big kick comes in. Now she is special prophesized child, in that Naboo takes her and off to wherever realm he comes from, this realm of light, because of how powerful she is. And he doesn't recognize, he's never seen this power before, and takes off with her, which, that's where this issue kicks off, is that Black Adam Xanadoth has taken Madame Xanadu and is in this all dark realm, and Naboo has taken Naomi and is in this all white realm. So there's many different artists, and each of those artists are doing their own thing. And it at least looks good. Lou Pacino's doing the main Justice League, where they're on Earth and not in these mystic realms. And it comes to find out that the key to beating Xanadoth is Naomi, because of the way she harnesses power, and that Naboo reveals that that Naomi, how Superman's power is weak to magic, that same ability, that same kind of relationship is what makes Naomi so powerful. And that the only reason that Naboo thought they had a chance to come back to go with the helm of fate is to, because of Naomi. And there's some fun Constantine stuff where Constantine basically has to try to talk Xanadoth down while they're, waiting for Naboo, to come back with Naomi, and basically pointing out to Xanadoth, like, hey, you're the original Lord of Chaos, right? But if there's everything is chaos, doesn't that make it the same as order? And don't you need order in order for chaos to thrive? Right? And it's this really fun, Constantine moment before Xanadoth's like, no, human, you're talking nonsense. You don't understand things the way he's like, yeah, I know, but I pretend enough. And that gives them enough time to do what they need to do. Yeah, it's Bendis's time's done. So, they beat Xanadoth. It wrecks Black Adam's home in Kahndaq, and they offer to help clean it up. He goes, no, this is my mess. So I'm almost wondering if this is seeding the events of what's going on in Black Adam, whatever's going to happen there, or maybe seeded through here, because they also talk about Hippolyta having to go home to Themyscira for the trial of the Amazons. They also address in the annual, which was done by Bendis and Sanford Green, which the art is really good in that one. But that deals with Diana coming back, and also with some timey-wimey stuff that ends up going to Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes. But just in that one, they bring up the trial of the Amazons too. So it's clear that Bendis wasn't alone on his little island. He was still having to weave stuff in and out. But yeah, so I say I'm happy that this is over, and now we're getting to the whole death of the Justice League. Because again, it just felt like Bendis was using each of these series to tell an overall narrative, which I guess is good, because I give Taylor credit for that in other books, right? Like,
there's nothing wrong with it in theory. It's just that it can be overpowering. And one of the problems is that a lot of the concepts that he brings back, like, because he brought that alien back from Superman, and that was where I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not reading this character again. I hated that character.
There's a line of doing it where I think when Taylor does it, it doesn't feel like the imported element takes over the book. Whereas everything about this is like, Naomi was the key to everything. I'm like, well, why is this a Justice League?
And I love Naomi as a character. Her original solo and her running around with Young Justice, I felt was a lot of good character development. Turning her into the special child archetype, but we don't know why, and I'm sure Naomi season 2 will address some of it, but it just feels like, this is my new character that I'm going to make super cool. Like, I don't know. She doesn't have much character development through these. Like, the only reason she gets to stay on the Justice League now is because she's super powerful. And I always think that that's a lazy reason. It's not like Batman going like, well, we need to understand your power more, so we're going to keep you close, which is what we had early on when she was popping up in Action Comics and Young Justice and all that stuff. But here for Naboo to do it, which I always remember Connor, who's much more of the magical realm of DC person I go to, him going like, well, yeah, Naboo's always just playing his own side, right? So for him to see Naomi and do that, I thought that was the best use of it, But now for the Justice League just to keep her around because of that, I don't know, man. It just feels like Bendis doing Bendis things. And like when Taylor does it, it feels like he's just continuing themes, right? Kind of like in Superman is continuing the theme of how power and money can corrupt, right? That was his thread from Suicide Squad. And
there's a difference between Taylor involving Nightwing into the Superman book with the truth, because that ties in thematically with Dick Grayson trying to use his money for a better purpose.
Right.
So it has that kind of that character interaction that has that thematic crossover, where this is just like, hey, I like Naomi. Let's put Naomi in everything.
Yeah. Well, it's like I created Naomi and I want Naomi to be a big deal, and it just feels shallow. Like when you can see the DNA, not even trying to hide it. It's unfortunate. And like
all stories, if essentially boil down to these core beats, you can boil every story down to that. But it's a case of when you're consuming the story, do you get caught up with it and forget that, or do you just see the pieces?
And people agree here, because I'm gonna make a wrestling analogy. It's like when like WWE would push somebody, and you could just know they were pushing him because this is their plan, yet the crowd pushes back, but they just keep doing it because that's what they want to do. It kind of ruins it, because it feels like the story doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like it's coming together.
It just comes down to earning
a cog in the wheel.
It comes down to earning beats and earning characters' places in certain situations, and if it feels like they're just going back to the same well constantly, I think that's part of the problem as well. Is like, I think you can make a character join a team book and have them be really important later on, but if you start off with, they're the most important person here, and the second arc is about them being the most important person there, and the third arc is about the most important person there, it just starts to feel repetitive and like you're really overdoing it. You're overselling them on us. Yeah, like the 2-part Royal Flush Gang story was kind of a nice change of pace, because it wasn't about her at all. It was about, how Leviathan had corrupted these people and made them seem more important than they are, and they end up causing more issues for the Justice League than them not listening to Leviathan, right? Because before they had listened to him and tried to tap their potential, they were just doing small time type stuff. But when unlocked, they created this big mess, which was nice, because Naomi was there and she was helping rein everything in, but it wasn't like, oh my god, you're the most important piece of the DC universe right now. But yeah, again, I only bought these because I didn't want a gap. And don't be like me, guys. Don't do that. Learn to break that. But if I guess, do you want me to rate Justice League? I mean, you might as well.
74. I'll give it a 6.5. And also, Black Adam never carries these weapons. That covers a lie. That's another reason that I was like, oh man, he's using the nth metal mace and Aquaman's trident to fight Xanadoth? No.
That's the cover for this issue.
Yeah. Yep.
So, for that.
Oh, wow.